While the sun might be setting after 5 p.m. for the first time since November, there's still 50 days until spring. And that means the days of winter are not yet over. For some, those that love the cold and even some that don't, that is a cause for celebration. For the No Child Left Inside program, it is time for a winter festival. Partnering with Fish with Care and the City of Torrington, the 20th annual event will have people ice fishing, bonfires, and search and rescue dogs, and all things winter. Kristen Bellantuono and Mike Beauchesne from the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection join us for an icy conversation here on the Municipal Voice. The Municipal Voice is the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities podcast in collaboration with WNHH LP 103.5 FM. I'm your host, Matt Ford. As always, be sure to give us a like and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. CCM's Municipal Voice podcast continues to present a key forum on important state local issues. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect the consensus views of CCM or member municipal leaders. Kristen, Mike, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Good to have you here. So first, I think I'd like to get to know both of you a little bit better. Kristen, you are the No Child Left Inside coordinator, along with several other programs at Deep. Tell us a bit about yourself and that program.
Okay, well, you already introduced me as Kristen. Go by a couple other names around here, but Kristen will work for today. I've been with the agency for about 25 years, been in the Parks Division for about 8 or so, and I've run all the family-related program, hiking-related programs. I think we had chatted earlier this year about the Sky's the Limit Hiking Challenge.
Yep.
Coordinate the first day hikes and a bunch of other things, but those are the two main programs that I coordinate.
Very cool. And Mike, as it says that you're the supervising fisheries biologist, which I think is the first time we've ever had one of those on the show, as well as working for the Connecticut Aquatic Resource Education Program. Can you tell us about some of that stuff?
Sure, absolutely, Matt. The Connecticut Aquatic Resource Education Program is Deep's major outreach program on the fisheries division, where we work with members of the public to teach them how to fish and all about fishing. We offer over 150 events throughout the year. We'll have a schedule up on our website soon. And that's pretty cool. And being a fish biologist, it's always fun to be out in the water, seeing what's there. And I love introducing people to the sport of fishing.
That's great. And how did you come into this? Did you come from like state government angle and then get into that stuff? Or you're a biologist that liked fish and then you found a job with the state?
Yeah, well, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be Jacques Cousteau. That was my dream, and soon found out pretty quickly that wasn't going to happen. So I majored in fisheries management in college and luckily was able to land with Deep early on. I've been there as well, about 28 years, and just love being in that job, helping the public enjoy fish and fishing in the outdoors.
It's great to love what you do, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So this year is going to be the 20th annual Winter Festival event, correct?
Actually, it's the 19th annual, but the 20th anniversary of our No Child Left Inside program.
So you missed one somewhere?
Yep. I don't know. Mike may be able to talk to that a little bit more, but at some point, I think we waited a year. That's what I'm thinking before we connected with kind of fisheries and the care folks to kind of start this wonderful event, focusing on really ice fishing. And then we've brought kind of the other winter related activities and events into the program.
Okay, yeah. So talk to us about it. So it started mostly with the ice fishing, and it's grown from there. So, were you there from the start with the ice fishing?
Yes, pretty much. So
how did it start? What was kind of the first couple of years like?
The first couple of years really was hoping the big draw would get people out on the novelty of fishing on the water instead of floating in it or casting into it. So luckily back then, 20 years ago, we were having more consistent winters with safe ice. In general. So it was thought to be a great annual event to be on the ice. Well, as years have gone by, some years we actually don't end up with safe ice. This year we have over 9 to 10 inches of ice, plenty of safe ice to be out there, and we will be introducing hundreds of people to the sport of ice fishing.
Yeah, I imagine some of the changes environmentally over the years have changed the planning for some of these winter events. So you said we're in good shape for this year.
Always have a backup date.
Yeah, right. So, but you say we're in good shape for this coming weekend for the Winterfest. The ice is nice and thick. If someone Now, I'm assuming that there's opportunities in the state parks the rest of the year for people to go out and do ice fishing and things like that as well. Is there a way they can find out, like, if the ice is thick enough at places without having to go out there and step on it? Is there like a website or something they can check out?
We don't have enough resources to
Hmm.
monitor all the water bodies out there. So, um, unless someone can make a call to a state park manager,
Hmm.
or they may be able to give them some information. Other than that, it's up to the public to, employ best safe
Best
practices,
practices.
test the ice as you go out.
So when you're setting up for this event, for instance, how thick does it have to be for you to declare it safe?
For a major event like this, where we're going to have hundreds of people out on the
Hmm.
ice at once, we want at least 7 inches
Hmm.
of ice. We're 2 inches over that at least, so that's great. For the casual family that's going out ice fishing, they only need about 4 inches of ice because there's a lot fewer of them spread out.
Right.
So,
Gotcha. Good stuff to know. Can anyone come and go ice fishing on the lake for this event? Do they need a fishing license? How does that work?
go ahead,
Yeah,
Kristen. You
I
can
get
take that.
both Mike and I can tag team this one. So the event is free, open to all. Basically, all you have to do is show up. Mike and the wonderful care folks and the other volunteers and staff that are there, they have, I'll say, the fishing gear, the ice fishing gear. People are
Hmm.
welcome to bring their own. There is some available to use, but if we have a very large turnout or a crowd, you might have to wait a little bit. But that's again the main draw, the main focus. So most people, as soon as they show up, they head straight to the ice and enjoy the rest of everything else that's there in case they have to wait. We have a lot of other things to kind of keep them occupied. But yeah, definitely I'll let Mike talk more specifically to the ice fishing related gear that they have available.
Yeah, and you specifically asked about fishing licenses, and we
Well,
have a
yeah, I guess
range.
in general, can people go
Mhm.
fishing in state park stuff on the ice with or without a license, and then at this specific event?
Yes, in general, as long as there's safe ice in parks, they can are able to go ice fishing with their fishing license, 16 and over.
Hmm.
For this event, we have a waiver. Everyone can come to
Gotcha.
our for this event at Burr Pond. They can come
Hmm.
that day, and they don't have to have a fishing license.
Excellent. So everyone can try it out, and
Yes.
sounds really good. We said it's going to be at Burr Pond, and where is Burr Pond?
In Torrington, Connecticut.
Excellent. And it's called Burr Pond State Park.
Yes,
And
very easy.
has this
And
event been there every year since this started, or does it move around?
I can say for my last 8 years being
Hmm.
involved, 7, 8 years, it's been up there.
So
I
at least
know
as far as you know,
actually,
it's been there. Yeah.
yeah, and with the exception of what was it, 2020, Mike? I think we were up at Coventry Lake,
Hmm.
Yeah,
where we had to do kind of a virtual. There was a little bit in person, but more virtual.
Hmm.
In my time in the position, consistently been at Burr Pond because it seems to be the one area kind of across the state that tends to, even last minute, usually the week of, we're kind of stressing, going, oh my gosh, is there enough ice to,
Hmm.
what can we do? And do we, what do we have to make it look like? But to my time in this position, it's been up at Burr Pond with the exception of 2020 during kind of the COVID times where we had to pivot a little bit. We still were able to offer something, but in a different way.
Hmm.
A small in-person with kind of more of the deep staff, the care, fishing staff, and gosh, I'm not sure, Mike, what other places have you guys gone to for this event?
I think those are the only two locations that
Yeah.
I'm
And so
aware
you
of.
say,
Okay.
that it's actually a place, generally is colder than a lot of the other ones and tends to freeze. Is that part of it? That's
Yes.
wild. So
That,
like
that's
some of the places down closer to the shore might not want to go skating this weekend.
Yeah, I can't speak to conditions throughout the state, but I
So
do
it's
know
park to
that
park. You should kind of check it out.
you should check. I do know that we do.
Right.
There is some safe ice at Chatfield Hollow State Park, which is in Killingworth, which is pretty close to the shore.
Hmm.
So yeah, it depends. We always stress ice safety. Make sure you test as you're going out onto the ice and
Mhm.
routinely as you go. And once you have a feel for, the conditions, then you can feel free to enjoy.
Right.
So you hear Burr Pond. The pond doesn't sound super impressive. What are the kind of your numbers and records? Like how many fish do people catch? Like do they catch big foot long thing? Like what kind of stuff can we expect?
It's a pretty decent sized pond. It's probably about maybe 100 acres or so. It's a
Okay.
lot. There's lots of parking. which is one of the other reasons why we have it
Hmm.
there. And good access, good partners, community partners that come and support us every year. Another good reason to have it there. But the pond offers traditional panfish that are smaller, like pumpkin seed bluegills. There's
Hmm.
chain pickerel, which are a little larger, calico bass. And for the first time in probably ever, the agency has stocked trout into Burr Pond just this week to support the program. And we've done that because of the safe ice that's there, and it not
Hmm.
just for this event, but there's going to 9 inches of ice is going to be there for a while, and so the
Hmm.
public can get out and enjoy and fish there quite a bit. And we're also stocking lots of other ponds around the state, but for Burr Pond hasn't had trout in it for a long time, and now they're there for those folks to catch.
That's cool. If you stock the pond, are there connecting streams, rivers, or anything that they then kind of spread out into, or do they stay in the pond more or less?
We're hoping they stay in the pond. There is an
Okay.
outlet, but it's a really scenic waterfall as you're driving up to the park, and
Hmm.
it's pretty frozen right now, so I think they'd have a hard
Mhm.
time getting out. But come springtime, they may decide they want to head, down to Long Island Sound or something and find wetter water somewhere else.
Mhm.
All right. So, Kristen, if someone wants to come down with their family and watch the kids, but they don't necessarily want to fish
Yep.
themselves, what else can they be doing while some people are fishing?
Well, there's a little bit of everything. We have, I think, our numbers around 31 different partners, community members, folks that are coming out and offering I'll call it a program, an activity, or an event.
Hmm.
Again, that's in addition to Mike in the Fisheries Division and the Connecticut Aquatic Resource Education staff, volunteers, and fishermen and women that come
Hmm.
out. Um, you name it, we have everything from search and rescue dogs to the Connecticut Siberian Husky Club. So we'll have demonstrations done by both of them. Excuse me. We have one of the local sugar houses that's there. Excuse me. Our state environmental conservation police, lots of Connecticut, local fire departments. We'll have some adaptive sports, Let's Children's Museum. Uh,
Any
you
like
name it,
warm
there's a
beverages?
little bit of everything. Yes, we have the local Boy Scout Troop 1 will be selling kind of some warm beverages, usually hot dogs, chili, some other snacks. And we also have,
Little something
in
to keep your
addition
hands
this year
warm,
is
maybe if
Dude's.
you're out there.
Yep, and we have Dude's Donuts coming out to sell some nice warm donuts and some
All
other
right.
warm beverages and lemonades and things. So
Dude's
for
Donuts, man.
anybody, yeah, so anybody coming out, there's definitely the opportunity to get something warm and sweet and savory while you're there.
Right. And so what are some of the other like winter, are there other winter games sort of things happening in addition to the groups that you have coming?
So I wouldn't necessarily say games, but we do
Hmm.
have an area that usually the families and the kids really enjoy, kind of like an ice sculpture area where we have different
Mm.
kind of to simplify it, kind of watercolor bottles with different ice, and they kind of build upon it. So
Oh, that's
someone
cool.
will come in and build a little something, and then someone else will come and add to that. So it tends to take up a nice little section there, kind of in the center of everything. Um, and usually, some of the other partners, sometimes the Girl Scouts, they might be snowshoeing, they might have a winter craft, they might have a winter game. And, we kind of leave it to, our different outdoor recreational partners, if you will, to kind of come up with something specific at their table or at their booth to kind of share with the families and folks that come out for the day. But generally speaking, it's all kind of winter related in some way,
Hmm.
shape, or form and kind of connects back. Sometimes it's, with the trail group that's there, the Torrington Trails and Winstead Trails group, they might do kind of a little walk or a hike somewhere on the property very close by. So people aren't going off and
Yeah.
missing a good chunk of the event. But there's enough there for young and old to enjoy. Kind of, we're there from 10 to 3.
Okay.
We have 4 shuttle buses this year that are each year we kind of increase the number of shuttle buses we have to
Hmm.
kind of move our event goers around. So, some people we suggest people dress really warm
Hmm.
just because it's super chilly up there, windy. Some folks stay for the majority of the day, other folks kind of come and go. But we want to
Hmm.
have a little bit of assortment of things for people to do and see and take part in, whether they're for a short period of time or a long period of time, just to kind of get a nice, refreshing day out in the winter.
Yeah. And how much does this cost for people to come to?
There is no cost associated with it. It's
It is
free
free
and it's open to all. The only cost would be if you decided to purchase something from
to get some
the
snacks
Boy
or a
Scouts,
drink or
the
something like that.
snacks or what have you. We have unfortunately, this time of year, our main building on site there, that our restroom
Hmm.
building is closed due to kind of the winter conditions, but we do
Hmm.
have a handful of portable restrooms there with hand sanitizer and things. So there's that opportunity on
But you might
site
want to go before
for
you,
folks.
you leave the house too.
It definitely might want to go, but we do have a
There will
bonfire,
be
some
stuff on. Oh,
fire puts
bonfire,
there. So
nice.
there's a little place for folks to warm up. We'll be offering some roasting of marshmallows too. So
You are listening to the Municipal Voice on WNHH 103.5 FM. If
I
someone
guess that
wants to
would be the other
learn about
thing
all this
for your
stuff,
cost.
is it on your website they could find out more? Is there,
Yep. So we have it in a variety of places this
okay.
year, trying to reach the greater folks. We have it on our Deep State Parks Facebook page, our Instagram page. We have a specific site on our ctparks.com,
Hmm.
kind of a newer launched website there, our events page. So it's very detailed there with um, a majority of the partners that are on there. There's so many, it's hard to list every one. Um,
ctparks.com is one
Yep,
of the new ones.
ctparks.com and the events page. It's also on the No Child Left Inside page. So there's a variety of places, I think 5 or 6 different places, probably on Mike's Fisheries Care website. It's probably there too. We did a press release, I believe that went out on the 20 last Thursday, whatever
Hmm.
date that was, the 22nd, I think. So it's in a variety of places. So we're hoping that it kind of reaches the larger community. We've also shared it with many of our local schools, and our partners have shared it. So the information's out there. It's just depending, which way you'd like to access it, but it's there.
Great. Obviously, this fest has kind of encouraged people to come out and enjoy the park in
Mhm.
the winter. In general, what sort of are there other events going on in Connecticut parks in the winter? Other activities? How much use do the parks get over the winter?
I mean, I guess that's dependent, and I'll let Mick to speak to this too as well. But I guess it's dependent on what your, outdoor interests are, because the
Hmm.
parks are generally speaking always open. But we have to
Okay.
bear in mind some of our parks, the parking, they might have it kind of closed for the winter.
Hmm.
Some of our parking lots, and other times too, say if we were have a snowstorm or something, folks want to get out there first thing in the morning. Depending on during the week, we do our best to, kind of get the plowing done. But on the weekend, sometimes it may be a little bit later opening based on resources and the type of storm that we have. But generally speaking, we're again turning over onto our ctparks.com website. So we will be posting recent events on there, or
Hmm.
upcoming events, but we do have a deep calendar of events that should be listing offerings kind of across the state, nature centers, museums, historic buildings, maybe some of Mike's care programs. With us, in terms of the No Child Left Inside program, the care
Hmm.
program, and the city of Torrington, this is our main kind of winter event or festival
Hmm.
that we offer. But other, parks in forest locations, I know, for example, at Chatfield Hollow State Park, they typically at this time of year have one of their seasonals on, who does different offerings kind of starting January 1st.
Hmm.
So there's a bunch of things going on. It's my recommendation would definitely be to check our deep calendar of events, as well as our deep state parks Facebook page and our Instagram pages for kind of upcoming park related events kind of throughout the year.
Yeah, we talked earlier about the ice and the thickness, and for some of the other that use common sense and check the conditions and stuff. Does Deep help provide information or classes for people on safety during winter activities? Is there a place they can go for resources to find tips on how to keep themselves, their families safe during the winter?
Yep. We have a specifically an ice safety page on our
Hmm.
website, as well as we offer free um, ice fishing courses, and a
Okay.
big chunk of that course is how to be safe on the ice, because that's usually the number one concern of most people.
Hmm.
uh, is is the ice safe, and am I going to be safe? And when the answer to the first part is yes, the second one is yes. So understanding what safe ice is and how to notice it is very, very important. And then after that, it's all simple fun, having a great time and creating
Right.
memories with your family. So yes, there's our ice safety page that's on our deep website. If you just Google DEEP ice safety, I'm sure it pops right up. And you can reach out to anybody could reach out to us at any point in time if they want specific advice.
Awesome. This might be the hardest question for both of you, and we'll start with Kristen. Are you winter people, or do you prefer spring, summer, autumn? What's
I I think probably the fall is my favorite time of year.
Hmm.
However, there's just something about being out, any time of year in our state parks and forests, especially, looking forward to the Winterfest. Why I
Hmm.
like winter. Do I want to be out when it's below zero? Not necessarily, but I've learned, how to dress, what to wear, proper clothing, layering, the boots, the spikes, what have you. So
Yeah.
I will say I do love the Winter Festival and just kind of being able to enjoy kind of the park at a different time of year,
Hmm.
because each park is unique in its own ways, and some are more known for kind of a summer program with
Yeah.
boating as compared to, a winter program here. But I will say at Burr Pond, it's kind of an all-year park.
Hmm.
They do fishing and boating and um, swimming there, kind of spring and summer, and then you transition into the winter where we're able to offer, such a diverse offering of programs and activities and events that day. So,
Yeah.
people might not realize, hey, Burr Pond is, as are many of the other parks, but this one happens to kind of give us what we need for the winter. But yes, I like winter, but I have to say my favorite time of year is truly the fall.
So you're a fall person in general, but you think has working four deep changed your perspective to some degree on like outdoor activities in the winter? Like opened your eyes to some of them?
Definitely. Like it's kind of taught me a lot just kind of working with kind of staff and coworkers. We've all been able to kind of share our knowledge, our experience. And, I like hiking too, but I tend to hike more in kind of the spring and summer months,
Hmm.
in the fall than in the middle of winter. But there's still, it's something about every season being outside to kind of take in the sounds and the sights of nature. And the different things that you'll see and hear and the people using it. So we just want people to know that they can get out any time of year, regardless of the weather. You just have to either dress appropriately, let people know where you're going, be safe, and kind of be prepared before you go out.
Mike, what's your favorite season here?
I think if I had to pick a favorite, to make a favorite, it would be summer for
Hmm.
sure.
Mhm.
Especially with my family situation, kids being out of school and
Hmm.
wife being a teacher, I get to spend more time with the family than working sometimes. But I do enjoy all four seasons.
Hmm.
One downside, I love being outside in the winter. Like Kristen said, dressing for the weather is
Mhm.
appropriate, and you can always layer up and be fine. The one thing I don't like about winter is snow removal and heating bills.
Right.
So those two
True.
things
True.
if we could get rid of those two pieces, maybe,
Yeah.
then I would love winter more. But
Yeah.
summer's definitely my favorite.
Are there other times of the year where you have significant events for fishing, either naturally, like the shad coming up? Is that something exciting for you guys, or other park events that you throw for fishing?
Yeah, go ahead, Kristen.
All right. Well, I guess both Mike and I can work on this one. So basically, 3 times a year
Hmm.
that my program and Mike's programs kind of collaborate,
Overlap?
partner, overlap, and throw events.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the ice fishing, and then usually it's the Saturday before Mother's Day. We do kind of the freshwater fishing day, and then
Hmm.
usually saltwater fishing day is at Fort Trumbull State Park every year. That's usually the beginning, first or second week of August. This year, I believe we're going to be at Chatfield Hollow State Park. So that'll be the Saturday before Mother's Day. I'm
Hmm.
not sure if that's the 10th or 11th of May. So at a minimum, it's 3 times a year that, we partner together as kind of our family related program, working with Mike's group. But my programs as a whole, we do things starting in February and we go through December. Some are bigger, some are smaller, but generally speaking, it's 3 bigger fishing days, 3 bigger boating days. And this year, with our 20th anniversary, we're focusing on 4 kind of seasonal festivals, kind of
Hmm.
a winter, spring, summer, and fall event, bigger event like this.
Yeah, Mike. So is the schedule of the fishing events kind of tied to the fish's natural sort of seasonal schedules?
Yeah, that and more so like our own agency efforts to stock fish. So we do
Hmm.
a lot of spring trout fishing events throughout April and into early May. We'll be really focusing on trout fishing in our state trout parks
Hmm.
and smaller lakes and ponds. As we go and transition into the summer months, we'll do some bass fishing when the water warms up a little bit, and then when it's really getting warm and some of our ponds grow some lily pads and such, towards the end of the season, we'll shift to saltwater. So we'll fish off of piers to take advantage of the fish that are abundant in Long Island Sound. And so we do shift our programming a little bit on the availability of the
Yeah.
fishing. but it also gives everybody a chance to have a little bit of flavor. Connecticut's a really small state, but we have a tremendous diversity of recreational
Yeah.
opportunities. And within fishing, as one of those recreational opportunities, a tremendous diversity there. So there's lots and lots to do in Connecticut, especially
Yeah.
in the tremendous park system.
So great. And just one last question that I'm just curious myself. Talk about stocking the ponds and stuff. Where do those little fish come from? Do we have a nursery in Connecticut? Do they come from elsewhere?
Great question. We have three hatcheries. They're kind of what you could just call them fish farms. They
Hmm.
start from egg and we grow them to be the standard size we stock is around 11 to 12 inches,
Okay.
but that's about an 18-month-old fish. And that's our standard fish, maybe 400,000 of those per year we will put
Oh
out.
wow.
And then another 150 to 200,000 will be larger than 12 inches, some of them up to when we're retiring our spawning stock, some of those fish can be 8, 10, 12 pound fish. And
When you put them out to pasture,
we put them out to pasture, right? Put them out to lake.
that's
uh,
great.
so yeah, so we for trout fishing, we supplement the waters pretty well. Um, Anglers are pretty happy, and that a lot of the cost of that program is recouped through fishing license fees. So
Mm.
often people want to know where do their fishing license fees go to, and it goes to support the resources and the programs. So it's kind of like a pay to play. In a sense, it's pay to fish in a little bit, but you get a very big bargain for your
Yeah.
$28 fishing license for 365 days of memories. So sorry for
Awesome.
that long answer.
No, it's great. Kristen,
No,
Mike,
it's definitely
thanks.
about the memory making.
Absolutely.
That's kind of the business that we're in, and
Yeah.
giving people a positive outdoor experience, and kind of meeting them where they are.
So just one more time, where's the event going to be and what time?
We'll be at Burr Pond State Park Saturday, February 1st from 10 to 3, and that's in Torrington, Connecticut, Burr Pond State Park
For the big winter fest and
for the
fishing
Winter Festival.
event.
Yes.
Awesome. Kristen, Mike, thanks so much for talking with us today. We really appreciate it.
All right,
Okay,
thank you,
thanks,
Matt, for
Matt. Have a
having
great
Hope
us.
day.
everyone has a fun time on Saturday.
We will.
We'd like to thank our guests, Kristen and Mike from Connecticut Deep. Municipal Voice is a co-production by CCM and WNHH 103.5 FM. Joe Thornton is our executive producer, Christopher Gilson is our producer, Harry Draws is on the boards, and I'm Matt Ford, your host. Be sure to check out our Facebook page and give us a like. And watch out for our CCM chat series on our YouTube page.